Let's talk about yourself initially. How long have you been singing, and did you get into singing by accident?
Yeah, I can't remember when I started, maybe at 6 years old. Both of my parents are big, like, music fans. And my dad had this big record collection, so it was a lot of, Beatles, Small Faces, and a lot of soul music, and I instantly fell in love with Aretha Franklin, so I was, like, mimicking her a lot when I was a kid growing up. But then eventually, I sort of, like, my parents heard that I had some sort of talent, even though my dad always thought I was singing very loud. But so I went to a vocal coach, I think around when I was 14, and then I started going to music school around 15. Then I guess I became more technical and got help with my vocals.
Tell us about how this band formed, because you're born and raised in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
But tell us about how the band actually formed.
Yeah, I met Zach on Facebook, actually, and I had a band in Sweden. He had a band in the USA, and I was heading to California because, when you graduate, you sort of collect money, and then you often, maybe a lot of Swedes go to Asia and travel around for months. And I wanted to go to the United States. So then I met up with him, and we clicked and headed off and started to create music. And eventually he moved to Sweden, and we all formed this band, But it went, like, very fast. Like, I think that was one of the things we didn't expect, because we just wrote songs, and then it, like, instantly got spread on YouTube, and we got these, like, labels fighting about us. So it was just, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into at all. But I'm thankful that we did, do this. And I remember, like, the first tour we ever did, we had, like, practice for a week with the line, and we actually got kicked out from the practice rehearsal places from this other band with kind of douchebags. And then we had, like, less than a week practice, and then we went to Spain, and then, we had released a 4-track EP back then, and then they wanted us to play for 3 hours, like, set. And we were like, okay, this is so fucked up. So we had to play, like, one song for 40 or 45 minutes just to get people drinking. But, I mean, after that, it was, because usually bands, they lose money when they do their first tour, and, it's like a hassle in the beginning. And, of course, it was, because I had 3 jobs, and then I went on tour, so I never got time to, rest. And it was constantly this, you put everything in the band. But it was quite weird that we actually, like, earned money on the first tour we ever did, which is, that's, you never do that. That's how it started.
Tell us about the second album. Now, that debuted, didn't it, at #1 in Germany. How did that feel?
I felt weird. No, but it felt awesome. I was, happy that people bought it and that, they were into our music. But it was like a rough recording situation. So I think I was mostly just happy that we got through it in the end, because we were, heading from tour into the studio, sleeping on floors, back to tour. So it was like a long period not seeing your family and friends and just, working. But it was crazy that I didn't think we would create an album that got to be #1 in Germany. Like, I had no imagination for that. So that was pretty cool.
So you've taken a bit longer this time with the third album. Tell me about building your own studio and having it full of analog equipment. Tell me all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of Zach is the chief of this thing. He's the sound nerd, and he started to collect this, like, old equipment, like, already in 2014 or 13. He fixes them up. He's like a genius in that way. Yeah, we wanted to have this studio to get complete freedom, and we got this place outside of Örebro in Sweden, which is called Lindbacka, and it's an old factory building. So it was, like, mostly to get complete freedom. And also, you know, at the end of the day, I had some gear. Zach was collecting gear, and the same with Andre had his gear. So it's also to have a sort of, you know, a camp for Blues Pills where we had all our stuff and practice and record, like a headquarters. So it was, you know, and through this album, we just, you know, we recorded it ourselves. Zach was the sound engineer. We produced it ourselves. It's completely self-made, and in this studio that we built. When we were done with it, it was, you know, this incredible feeling that Andrew Sheps, who's a Grammy Award winner, mixing engineer, mixed the album, and that it turned out this good, because we were like, okay, let's try to do this on our own, and then it became this amazing record that I'm very proud of. So it was also a sort of uplifting thing for ourselves that we could do this ourselves and take back the control, because now we're getting older, or I'm an adult now, and that's what I felt during the 10 years, that everyone just threw their opinions on us, and we were, you know, at times scared to say no, and just thankful to all the opportunities. But you need to take back the control over your music and your band and your art, and that's what we did on this record.
I think you've done very well. Holy Moly is the name of the album. I'm curious as to, you know, speaking to people around the world like myself, what sort of feedback you get about different tracks and what people's favourite tracks are. Because let me tell you mine, and it might come a bit out of left field, but mine is Song from a Mourning Dove.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. Yeah, and it's the first track we finished on the album. It was the first demo. So so that was like our point to try to make every song as good as that one. But it's this song is about my dog that passed away in an accident. So it's sort of goodbye. I don't know if you have animals, or he was my baby. I don't have any kids, so he was my family member. So it was really hard. So this song means a lot to me as well, like lyric-wise and the whole thing.
Do you think building your own studio, sort of locking yourselves away, helped make this album? It sort of comes across as an introspective album. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Very self-analytical album?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very personal. I think when we recorded it, it was only us existing in the studio. It was like being on a spaceship with no other people around. I mean, we all had a kind of rough times on, you know, personal struggles and so on. So we had stuff to write about this time. So I think that it's also become so much more personal, because on Lady in Gold, we were only touring and working. So there was not much lyric influences. We took, you know, we made fairy tales and so on, which is also cool. But this time around, they're very personal, all of them.
What can you tell me about the song California?
That song is sort of a love song, and it's about the time back in California when we started a band. During these times or these years, I've struggled with depression and anxiety. So, I mean, at your lowest points, you sort of trying to remember a time when you were actually happy. And that's like what we were trying to capture in this song, dreaming our way back to when we were free and happy.
Everybody's plans have been thrown into disarray with this whole COVID thing all over the world. What's the plan now for Blues Pills?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just happy we got to release this record, and I mean, depending on the situation, either we start touring, but I don't think, you know, show's gonna happen until 2021 at least. So maybe we start on a new record and be productive in that way. But I mean, applied to go back to school, and so it's I think it's kind of weird situation for us, because for us we can't just survive on releasing records, because people don't buy records and we don't get enough streams to make a living from it. So we're very dependent on touring, and the same with all our crew members and the people we work with. They need us Yeah, right now we don't even know. Like, we have shows booked in the fall, but I'm just, you know, sitting and waiting to get the information that it will be canceled. So it's a bit of a bummer.
Holy Moly, coming out August 21. I really like the album. I think you've done really well with it, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
I really hope you can get out on the road and tour it and sell it out there very soon.
Yeah, thank you. Hope we come to Australia to do some tours.
Hey, Elin Larsson, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Best of luck with your new album, Holy Moly, out August 21. I love it. Hope to see you on the road soon.
Thanks, Mal. Thanks for calling.
You have a good night.
You too. Bye.